Hello, beautiful. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. If you work with plant medicines, plant master teachers in ceremony, and are wondering how to integrate after ceremony to ground in your insights, your realizations, those inner shifts, then this video is for you because I thought it would be interesting to share with you how my integration process has evolved and how my understanding of working with the medicine has evolved in the past 13 years of working with plant medicines, mainly ayahuasca, and sitting in well over 200 ceremonies. So if this resonates with you, stick around. One of the things I think a lot of people don't realize is that the medicine keeps working after the ceremony. And maybe this is because a facilitator failed to mention it, but I find that a lot of ceremonies that I've been to have completely neglected to speak to this. And maybe they just think that the participants know, but I know that they don't. And so I just want to share that it's so important to protect your ceremony afterwards, to make as much space to tend to your rest, to your nourishment, to your silence, to your solitude, to your spiritual practices, to your inner voice, and to not eat anything that you wouldn't eat right before ceremony. It's, I know, so tempting to go out for a piece of cake or a hamburger after ceremony, the day after, that is. And I've done it. And this last ceremony, I mean, I haven't done that for a while, but this last ceremony, I really continued to eat very clean, just like kitchery the next day. I was eating kitchery for a couple days leading up to it. And I really made a lot of space to journal, to be in nature, to connect with friends, to dance. That is a social activity, but it's ecstatic dance that I went to. So it's no talking allowed on the dance floor. So in a way, I did feel protected around having a lot of conversations. I didn't have to have a lot of conversations. Any way that you can make space for yourself to keep conversing with the medicine, to keep inquiring about things that you received, to have lots of curiosity about what you didn't receive or things that you feel confused about, and to really notice what is shown to you, what reveals itself those next couple days or the next week after, what enters into your life, what exits your life, what trigger arises that challenges what you are working on. Any opportunities like that, those are really, really, really important to notice. And I find that when we move too quickly out of the ceremony, we have to get right back into life, right back into work. A lot can be missed. And so a huge part of integration is occurring in those first couple days and in the first week. And for me, this last ceremony that I just had, I was tempted to go out for a hamburger or a steak because I hadn't had red meat for a couple weeks. I was really craving it, but I chose to keep honoring my dieta, and I stayed quiet. I was considering options of what to do the next night, and I made a lot of great decisions, and a lot of them had to do with what I'm sharing with you here. A lot of them had to do with protecting my ceremony, staying quiet, staying grounded, continuing to do a lot of healthy grounding practices like self-massage. Abhyanga is like self oil massage, yoga, movement, getting fresh air, and getting a lot of sleep. And I really am receiving so much from this last ceremony. And I don't know, I just believe that a lot of this has to do with how I treated the week afterwards. So, the overall takeaway I want to share with you is that the more time and space you can make for your intentional integration after ceremony, the more you're going to reap from that ceremony. Another thing I have found to be super effective in my own integration practice is to create a somatic anchor right after the ceremony, as soon as possible after the ceremony. It could be even as soon as you get home. This creates an anchor to come back to your ceremonial experience, to come back to your experience relating with the medicine by choosing something that engages your senses and your body. So for me, I just did a ceremony with the Yawanawa. So I got home, I put on Yawanawa music from Spotify and am just continuing to dance to that music like I was dancing in the ceremony. And it extends the ceremony for me. And it will for you too if you can find the music or the songs that you heard in ceremony that really moved you. If you can find them online and play them afterwards and dance to them, rearrange your altars. I like to copal my house and clean up and water my plants, and garden. I just really have fun just cleaning and tidying up my space after ceremony. But listening to this music that way, when I listen to this music, these particular songs again, weeks or even months after the ceremony, for me, it brings me back to my experience, and it brings me back to the insights that I had, to the love that I felt, to the self love I felt, the self affirmation, the life affirmation that I was feeling in those moments. So it could also be learning a song that I heard in ceremony. If I heard a song that really moved me, or if I shared a song that felt super ecstatic or magical or just wonderful to sing in ceremony, if I get home, I'll pick up my guitar and sing that song and just anchor in what I was feeling in the ceremony, singing that song again into my body as I'm playing at my house now. And that way the song becomes a portal back to the ceremony. Another way you can create a somatic anchor point is by painting or making art. I also love to make art. I'm not that great at it, but I play around with it, and I do find it to be really therapeutic for me. So I did this one last week. I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago after the ceremony though. The anchoring is occurring while I'm painting it. I'm painting it with the intention to anchor in everything that I want to remember from that ceremony as I'm listening to medicine music, of course. And in the actual painting of it is laying down stroke by stroke that somatic memory that I want, because it's impossible to remember all the things from every ceremony that we get. We're only going to remember a small amount, but the body remembers. So this is a really beautiful practice. I'll just share. It's another one. Ceremony. I saw myself taking my face off and looking in the back of it, and it was the universe. But you don't have to be artistic to create a somatic anchor. You can find a mudra, perhaps, to do with your hands that can remind you of particular feelings that you had when you were feeling a shift or an insight or strength. understanding. You can dance. I mean, everybody can dance. You can reconfigure your altar, or you can create a new little garden. So, somatic anchoring after the experience is a way to get it in the body. Another thing I'm learning that is connected to the first thing I shared about making space after ceremony is that a subtle ceremony experience can be absolutely profound. For me, this past ceremony was more on the subtle side. I felt grounded, I felt lucid, I felt embodied, and I felt I felt the medicine. It was just subtle. And I went up for a second cup, I went up for a third cup, I asked for a large, and I've had a profound couple of weeks since that ceremony. Absolutely profound. I have been doing a really good job, I think, in tending to the seeds that were planted and really contemplating a lot that I received and a lot that I didn't receive. And a lot of what I didn't receive has revealed itself because other things had to be experienced and processed first. And I think that our culture teaches us that more stronger, intense is better, and that to really transform, we have to have this huge death and rebirth experience. We have to completely be obliterated and be rising up like the phoenix from the flames to really have a truly transformational experience. And that's just not true. And I think part of me was going for that stronger experience because part of me still thinks that to change, I need to have an intense experience. But there's another part of me that is growing older and growing wiser and really wanting to take better care of my body and my nervous system. And I haven't been sitting in ceremony that much at all lately because it takes such a big toll out on my body. My sleep is completely thrown off. I'm just like, was that even worth it? I don't know. So I have really taken a big step back. And so coming into the ceremony or going into the ceremony, I had this prayer for it to be gentle on my body. I don't want to blow my nervous system out. And so I get this really embodied experience and I want more. So there was a lot of looking at myself and, my shadow and my wanting to control the ceremony. And what I want to share with you is that less is more these days. I think if you really tend to your integration process and make space after your ceremony to really let the medicine keep working with you, with your psyche. The medicine works in your dreams. And yeah, there's just, I'm absolutely astounded, actually, at how much transformation is emerging from this recent ceremony that I did. And the next morning was thinking, well, gosh, that wasn't that strong. But it is not about how strong it is, how strong the medicine is in the ceremony. It's really so much more about the integration. And I feel like the work now is having that embodied, grounded presence in ceremony. That's where it's at. Being present to feel what needs to be felt without having to leave our bodies. And I am so grateful for this understanding. I'm really grateful that I feel safer in working with the medicine in the future because of my willingness or my wisdom that subtle ceremonies can be absolutely profound, and that maybe I don't need as much medicine anymore as I think. And that perfectly segues into the next thing I want to share with you, which is journaling post ceremony. And I know for a fact that I would not be able to share with you that this last ceremony was a big one for me if I hadn't journaled like I did afterwards and reviewed that journal every other day since ceremony and in the first week, and then every week since then. And it's been a living document for me. That's how I use it now. So I won't get ahead of myself. I will share with you my journaling method at the end of this video and how you can get your hands on it for free so you can use it in your own integration practice. I'll share that at the end. So I love to journal. I've always loved to journal. I am one of those people that doesn't know what they're thinking until they write it down. I really need to write. I love to write in the morning. Sometimes I'll write in the evening. I love to do the morning pages when I'm doing the artist way. And I have many, many journals, more than this. Many I've left behind when I lived somewhere else. And I dedicate these journals to documenting what I remember from ceremony, what I want to remember. And so that documentation has really evolved in the past 13 years. And after this recent ceremony, I wanted to document my experience more strategically. And you guys, I wish I had journaled like this for the past 13 years. Those first couple years, I probably wrote 1 or 2 pages. Sometimes I wrote it down on my iPhone in the Notes app. I do have a lot of ceremonies that I've recorded a lot in those Notes apps, but sometimes I would just write 2 or 3 pages. So this is like A5 size. 2 or 3 pages from a ceremony is better than nothing. But I think that it would be hard for me to track a lot of things that way. A lot has been lost because I just did those pages and that's it. So what has evolved in the past couple years is that I have been journaling a page of intentions or prayers leading up to the ceremony. And also on that page after the ceremony, I would write down what new prayers emerged in the ceremony, or what new intentions or desires really emerged in the ceremony that I want to remember, because this is like the full spectrum of what I came in with and maybe how the medicine redirected that. A couple of years ago, I introduced 2 new pages to the journaling, and that those were big assignments and small assignments. And I really love these 2 pages. It made it so much easier. They jogged my memory so easily on what I got in ceremony. And this is the thing with journaling. We forget so much. We do kind of need to be prompted sometimes to recollect more. So big assignments are those big downloads that we get. If I need to be checking up on my people more, I need to create a YouTube channel and start sharing on it. The big things. And there's a lot of things that are not going to get done. The medicine gives us a lot of work. I mean, we should not be doing medicine that much, I think.
I'm not going to say that. Delete.
Because I love doing ceremony. I freaking love ceremonies. It's just such a beautiful way to heal with beauty, to be with community, to be connecting with those who are like minded, who live near you, live in your community. It's such a beautiful way to develop a really deep affinity for somebody you never thought you'd interface with. And it's, gosh, yeah, such a beautiful way to pray. So I think that we receive more than we can humanly accomplish in a ceremony. So it's not necessary to do all the big assignments before the next ceremony, but it's important to be able to choose one or two and to kind of track those. Make sure you hold yourself accountable to doing a couple of them. And I like being able to track what all the big assignments I've gotten are. And if I see a pattern of one that comes up again and again and again that I continue to not choose, then, like, hey, that's information, good information. And on the small assignments page, I list down one-time tasks to do that the medicine showed me or that I'm thinking of post ceremony. So that's the medicine. Call this person, learn this song, rehall morning practice. Things that I just need to do once and they're complete. I can check them off the list. So I will circle 2 to 4 of those to accomplish in the next month, 30 days or 28 days. And if I can do more, great. But the point of the small assignments is to create momentum and feeling my integration being grounded in my real life. And that's what integration is. This is bringing the ceremony and the insights, the visions, that expansive state, grounding it into our actual human-sized life. So yeah, these are new pages that I love. So having a dedicated journal is super key. Having a method that you will journal is also super key. A framework for journaling that's going to make it easy to be able to track patterns across time, to make connections between the ceremony, what you continue to receive from the medicine, what you continue to not receive from the medicine. There's so much in what we don't receive. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you a little bit about the full template that I decided to create and gift you. So the last idea that I want to share with you guys in this video is one that I'm really, really excited to talk about, actually. And it's because, I suppose it's because I'm studying to be a Jungian coach. I've gotten super into Jungian psychology this year. I've gotten into attachment theory, a little bit of internal family systems, really into shadow work and working with shadow, working with triggers. And I find so much liberation and gold in working with my shadow. So there's this one particular page that I've started up in the journaling that I do post ceremony that is addressing the shadow. It's addressing the ego, and it addresses the inflation that can happen, that our ego can create when we receive visions, guidance, downloads, insights that are superhuman, that are archetypal. And what can happen, and I know this firsthand, I'll share with you my insight after this. What can happen is that we can receive this vision of, we have been chosen to be the ambassador of a extraterrestrial species coming to planet Earth. We've been chosen, and this will happen. We're going to be a channel for this vibration. right? So what happens when we get that in ceremony? What are we supposed to do with that? And if we don't integrate properly after ceremony, the ego can take that and inflate it, make it something that we define ourselves by. And there's a sense of urgency to anchoring this vision in our life. And what I want to share with you is kind of twofold. One, it's how important I am learning how important it is to work with an integration specialist after ceremony. Sorry, I'm just going to say it. And I'm not an integration specialist. I just know integration really well from my own experience. But I wish I had worked with an integration counselor or coach or guide after every single ceremony I've ever done. That is the real honest truth, because I think it's really, really difficult to make meaning of some of the things that we receive in ceremony because of the ego and the shadow, because of these psychological underpinnings, how we work as humans. So, one, I want to say that if you can afford it, I highly recommend working with an integration specialist to really get the most out of your ceremony, because it's like a little bit like working with dreams. I find I'm learning how to interpret dreams, or really to read people's dreams and make meaning of it. And it's an art, and it is so precisely customized to that person. Every symbol means something a little bit different to each person, but the psyche speaks in symbols and images. So that's the dreams are symbols and images, and it all means something that we don't, it's not so intuitive oftentimes. So an ayahuasca ceremony is like having 20 dreams that now you got to interpret all of them, and it's really hard to do on our own. So the journal is not a replacement for working with an integration specialist, but it is an absolute necessary tool to ground the insights, to be able to reflect on them time and time again after the ceremony. So this new page that I have added into my ceremony integration journaling practice is my favorite page. It's my new favorite page. It's going to require more than one page, I think, in my journal. And I am calling it What the Medicine Left Unresolved. And if you can't work with an integration specialist, I get it. It's expensive. The ceremony was already expensive. You're probably going to need 2 to 4 sessions to have a complete integration with a professional experience. But this page this page is designed to catch inflation, and this page is designed to really deepen your curiosity about your ceremony, about what you're asking for, about what you're not getting. This is a page of a deep inquiry, and I really am approaching this page with a lot of curiosity and not disappointment, because not all of my questions got answered in that ceremony. Actually, quite a few didn't. I wrote down in my journal, why do I think I didn't have enough medicine? And this is shadow work, This is shadow work, you guys, and I think that we don't do enough of this in ceremony, post ceremony, because it's not pleasant. It's not something that's fun to do, but it's an important part of integrating the medicine, because we are human beings with egos, with childhood wounds, and all of that really colors what we receive in ceremony. So that's where the inflation can come in too, of an insight or a download, because the ego is wounded and wants to grasp onto it and make a comeback, wants to be a superhero. So what can also be put on this page is where one notices resistance, control, or ego patterns, what one wants to dismiss, rationalize away, or avoid looking at, uncomfortable truths one's just not ready to face yet. And so if you are journaling this page after every ceremony, maybe you notice a pattern like, every time I ask for this, I am not getting an answer from the medicine. Well, you could ask yourself, do I already know the answer? Because maybe the medicine's not giving you the answer because it knows you already know. This page is the therapy page, okay? This is the free therapy page. So I hope you take advantage of it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get a lot out of it. And just to share a few overarching thoughts around integration. Integration is where the real work begins. You may or may not have heard this before, but it is absolutely true. Tending to our intentions, our prayers that were only just planted in the ceremony. And in answers too that came to us, they were seeds that were planted in ceremony. So if you just walk away from those seeds, they're not going to grow. So being in integrity with the seeds that were planted, we return to them again and again in our daily thoughts, in our journaling, in our prayers, in our actions, and taking care of ourselves in doing the little things step by step to get us more into alignment, and integration with the version of ourselves that we may have gotten a glimpse of in the ceremony. And there's no way to do integration perfect. In fact, I might say you're definitely going to get it wrong because there's just too much that we receive in these ceremonies to actually implement. It's already for every hour of life that we're alive, we need 3 hours to process and integrate that life experience. So there's just no way we can keep up with everything, but we can absolutely do our best. And it's like the Pareto rule, 80-20 rule. Like if we can just do 20%, if we can just really tend to 20%, really take action on 20% of those big assignments, small assignments, all the things like this, 20% of the shadow aspects or questionable parts of the ceremony that really get us ruffled. If we can tend to that 20%, that is going to make 80% of the difference in our lives. And that's all we got to do. So I really wish for you a very sweet, fruitful, rich integration process. And may all of your seeds bear fruit. And if you are preparing for ceremony, I hope you return to this video and maybe you'll share it with a friend who might appreciate it. All right, well, thank you so much for watching this video, for staying to the end, and I want to introduce to you what I've mentioned a few times now. This is the Ceremonial Integration Journal, and there is a 13-page PDF template that I just created this week for you guys, knowing that I wanted to share a video talking about ceremony integration. So there's going to be a link. I'm going to post it down below, and you can get a 3-ring binder like this and sheet protectors, and oh my gosh, you guys are going to become integration pros from this. So I hope you like this video. If you do, give me a thumbs up, and please leave a comment below in anything that really resonated with you, questions that you have for me, any videos you want me to make on anything that I covered in this video, I would really love to hear from you. And I look forward to connecting more. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye.